Hello, my friends. Today's talk is about the conditions, the requirements of a true relationship, true friendship. And I would like you to see that I learned those things not only from my interactions with the people on earth, but also from my interactions with the spiritual beings. Let me show you an example of that. When I was a young boy, 8 years old and 9 years old young boy, it was happening to me for 2 years in my life. I had that group of white figures, white spirits, white but misty, standing in front of my bed as I was in my bed, half awake, half asleep, and they were simply observing me. It was happening to me for 2 years of my life every single month. They were attracted by something in me, and I understood later that it was the presence of my soul. They were looking at me and thinking, this little boy had something that we did not have or that we could not detect. Some of them, after a while, they were disappearing from my life and from my spiritual interaction. They were gone. Which means that some of them, they detected the presence of this beauty in themselves. So they saw a little boy with this beautiful, bright soul, and every single child has it. Children are innocent. So I am not unique here. So they saw this beautiful soul in me, and when they detected the presence of the souls in themselves, they were gone. They were disappearing one by one. This group was shrinking, throughout those 2 years. They were very gentle. They were never pushy. They were simply observing me, looking at me, surprised, confused, as they were discovering their own possibilities, their own capacity of receiving some light from God, some new way of living, a bit of hope for them. That's who I was in this experience. So, what I learned, firstly, was that the first requirement for any true fellowship is simply about discovering others. Not being pushy with your ideas, not being arrogant, not forcing people to accept your presence, but simply staying there and trying to connect to something good in the people. Those spirits, they were trying to connect to something good in me. They were trying to discover what was there in me that was so bright, so full of light and love. So discovering others is all about, understanding that we cannot understand people who are around us. Only God can fully understand those who are on that planet fully. But, we also cannot change the people. Only you can change yourself. I can change myself, but I cannot change you. It is about this humility, you are there and you are not there in this combative mood to project some of your ideas upon your friend, but you try to discover something good in that human being. This is, like this art of spiritual direction. It was all about spiritual assistance. You assist the people as they make their own decisions. And you always try to discover something good in them. This is this bonding experience because you are reaching out to some kind of value there in your friend. It creates this bonding experience. The second quality of life that I had experienced with those spirits, spiritual white misty figures, was that they were gentle with me. They were not attacking me, or I would say my definition of gentleness is that you do not have an intention to add any additional pain to the experience of life of your friend. That's the real gentleness. Because you obviously would trigger people, you can trigger anybody around unknowingly to yourself. You can challenge many people, people will cry or people will be angry in your presence, but as long as you have this intention in your heart that you do not want to destroy people by your presence, that you don't want to add any additional pain to their experience, you become a safe person. You become somebody they connect to, because after a while they can realize and they will realize that you are a safe being. You do not bring harm to the situation. So this is gentleness for me, being really gentle. Maybe the third characteristic of this interaction was that we were both confused. I at first did not understand why those spirits were around me. And those spirits at first, they did not understand what attracted them to my person. So it was a bit of confusion or a surprise there in this interaction. So I would say that in every healthy relationship, we have to allow mistakes, allowing failures, allowing conflicts, allowing problems to happen. Because guess what? God created your soul with the capacity to make mistakes. Before anything else happened, God knew that humanity could go away from him. So God created you with this capacity to make a mistake and to learn from your mistake. Allowing mistakes is like, enduring this hard stuff of life together. You are staying there together for a little while, confused. And then after a while, slowly, day by day, month by month, you are resolving some issues. It creates an everlasting bond between you and your partner. That's frankly what soldiers experience. They go through a lot of hardship, soldiers, and they are buddies forever. Because when you have this experience of resolving problems together, repairing any damage together, that's beautiful. It bonds you forever. You are together forever. Especially when human families go through this experience, experiencing failures, rejection, problems, conflicts, and then growing out from that to be stronger, to be better. That's really of value. So allow mistakes to happen. And if I make mistakes, as I am telling you all that stuff, that's okay too. You can always correct me. I am happy for that. Maybe the last point, and maybe the most important, it should be the first, is honesty. You should be always honest to the every degree possible. And what I mean is that honesty takes away from the relationship every possibility for manipulation, every kind of shallow or surface connection is taken away, or this opportunity of playing social games with your partner. It never happens because you are honest. You always clarify your goals. You always tell who you are. You're always transparent. You live in the truth. And as you reveal your true self in your honesty, you connect to the soul of your partner immediately. That's what really happens. So be honest. You see, let me give you an example, maybe a little bit challenging example. Let us say that you are a husband and you really love your wife. And you are sitting there together in your living room watching, one of those chick flicks, those Hallmark movies that your wife loves. Those movies, they're all about, people kissing each other every 5 minutes. The mother-in-law is such a perfect being, and the grandpa is always, just protecting the heritage of the family, and he's going through this illness, but he's always recovering, and everybody's happy. I don't know a man who can take that kind of so-called perfection of life, and a man that can watch it for 5 minutes, okay? 5 minutes max. So you are there with your wife, and you do it because you really love her and you really want to connect to her, really, genuinely. You are also allowed to tell her, honey, listen, this movie, this is quite a fake experience. It is not happening in a real life. I am not that interested in this movie, really. You can tell her that. At first you may be terrified, but you can do that because it will connect you to her soul immediately. And maybe even she could understand that you are there for her, not for the movie. But that's how it works. Be always honest. Imagine that you have that kind of being in front of you right now. A being who, firstly, is looking always for something good in you, discovers you, tries to discover something of value in you. Then this being is also very gentle, not projecting upon you any distraction or any pain. Then this being is happy when you make mistakes. That's okay for you to do that. You will learn from those mistakes. And then this being is very honest with you. Do you see that this is the description of God? That's how God acts towards you. And of course, this is also a very rare description of a true friend. And you will have them in your life. And if you have people like that around yourself, now be happy and connect to them. May God bless you, my friends. So this is my approach to developing relationships. You can develop an honest, true relationship living in those living out those 4 qualities, of life. First, try to discover something good in others. Secondly, be gentle. Thirdly, allow mistakes. And the last point, be honest. That's simple and very fulfilling if you engage all that stuff. May God bless you. I guess we will see each other next time. Thank you very much for today. Bye.